Ruthie has become an intelligent, strong Christian woman. I remember seeing this little girl swimming in the pool, teasing each other. I remember seeing this young woman letting me drive her car in the Clear Springs parking lot when I was 14. I actually did some digging through my 5th grade feelings journal, aka my diary, and Ruthie found it, and she wrote a page dated exactly 10 years ago from now, or around 10 years ago, November 2013. She opened with the delicate words, "Hey, Elena, it's Rudy. What's up, my home dog?" And later, she closed with the motto that still applies today: love the life you live and live the life you love. Ruthie, I am so proud of the woman you've become, and you've done so many great things and will continue to do so. So, Ruthie and Zach, live the life you love. Together, we love you.
Well, my name's Mark, and I'm Zach's friend from college. Met in Rolla. I think it all really began, though, with a bunch of FIFA matches in the fraternity where I don't think we were, like, great friends yet, but I'd go down the hallway, and Zach would be like, "Hey, you want to play FIFA?" And we would just play for, like, maybe 3, 4, 5 games and just make the whole house just so, like, annoyed at how loud we were when we were playing. And I think that's really where the friendship was birthed. But there's a few words also that I just wanted to say about, like, Zach as a person that are good words. And one is that he's a man of understanding. He's decisive and committed, and he's always joyful. There are moments even where it's like, "Zach, are you upset or angry? Because, like, you're just really joyful still." It's like, you're not really sure. But he always exudes this energy in this life. He's decisive and committed. So when he decides on something, he just is going to do it. He always just goes for it, and nothing's going to stop him, which is essentially the word committed as well. But the fourth word that was like the first word that kind of came to my mind was Zach has an understanding about him that when you talk to him, you just feel like he understands you and he pulls things out of you. And it's really attractive to be around. It feels like, man, like some of the best things come out of you when you're around Zach. And it's always just fun and safe to be around him. But yeah, I mean, whether it's an engineering school where like maybe, you won't pass this project class, but you're with Zach, so you will. Or just like having phone calls or just talking about God stuff or, Bible stuff, or being a roommate and just, having the time of our lives while we're trying to do engineering and graduate eventually. He's always been a great friend, and I know that he's going to be a great friend and a great husband to Ruth as well. So.
Cheers. I also had the great privilege of being present for all the behind the scenes of watching these two fall in love when I was living with him. Was that not on the whole time? Are we good? All right, cool. Zach would walk in and sit down, and he would look at me, and he'd be like, "Dude, I think I'm in love with Ruth." And I'd be like, "That's great," And then eventually it turned in, I do love Ruth. And then I would walk outside, and on his truck, she'd leave all these little notes underneath his windshield wiper. And it was the cutest thing ever. And I was like, this is great. So I have no doubt that they are truly in love, and I cannot wait to see what they do with God in their lives. To Zach and Ruth.
Thank you, and what an honor to be here. Ruth sent me an email, and she said, me and my fiance are thinking about taking this. Should I do it? And I said, absolutely. Even if y'all don't get married, this stuff will benefit you the rest of your life, and, so forth and so on. And so she signed up, and I looked at her email address, and I just thought I'd never even laid eyes on her. And I go, she's the ruthless one. Because that's what her email was, Ruth, last one. And I go, are you the ruthless one? She goes, I am. So, when we had our first class, after it was all said and done, they stayed, and they ended up talking to me. They go, well, we really enjoyed it. We really had a lot of fun, surprisingly. Thanks. Glad your expectations were low, but I said, Zach came up and said, man, I'm so glad we convinced her to sign up. And she looked at me and him, and we're the same height. We're big. And she's got that finger pointing at us, and she is wagging it. You didn't tell me nothing. You didn't convince me. This was my decision. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. And the one last thing about that time was we got into investing, and we're talking about all the different ways to make your money grow, and this is what you want to do, and this is how you pick your stock mutual funds. And she's looking at the examples I've given her. She goes, but what about this one? This one's got a higher yield. And I go, well, that didn't fall into the parameters. It's got a little more risk. But Mr. Bart, what about that one? So you're not going to ever tell her what to do, and thank God she is the way she is. All you can do is just, pour into her and take off from there. So I did get a card from you. And if I get a card from somebody that's got a scripture verse in it, I'm gonna dig into it. I'm like, oh man, I just been studying the Beatitudes, and I can tell that's where this was coming from. So I open it up, and blessed are the hungry, and I'm like going, well, she talking about those that are hungry and thirst for righteousness. Was she saying that about me, or was it about her? I really don't know all these cues, but it was so awesome because they do have a hunger and thirst for righteousness. So it could have been her verse. It could have been that's what she was saying about us. And so it was just really awesome that we're like-minded, even though we're generations apart. But I really think they ought to have a new beatitude, because this is what it would be for them. Blessed are the geezer pleasers. Because then I'm an old geezer, and they sure do please me. And so I'm just really blessed. So just a few more things, observations. Ruth, you might be surprised just in 1 week, how did Zach ever make it this long on his own? He doesn't even know how to brush his teeth or, find his car keys. How did he ever survive 20-something years without me? But that's the way God made him. The last thing is that the largest trials that'll ever come into your life will drive you closer together, or they will tear you apart. Come together. I was very proud that I had Tanya as my wife, but until we went through some of the worst trials that you would ever imagine, that's when she became my best friend. And that's all I wanted to know, is that she was there with me. And you'll never have someone not praying for you by name. We all love you, and we'll pray for you by name, but we don't do it every day. Your spouse will.
Okay, for all you engineering nerds here, the Venn diagram, you got the two circles, A and B, and they have an intersection. And all the textbooks show a little bit of an overlap. Your overlap, I've seen it, it's complete. Like how the sun and the moon come together for an eclipse. It's your two individual notes in perfect harmony. And so we celebrate with great joy. And I did a little research because, it's Christmas season, and, a lot of people celebrate Advent. Tomorrow is the third Sunday of Advent, and the theme happens to be joy. And according to the Hebrew calendar, the day has already started. So this is a day of joy. And it's just more evidence of God's hand in this union. Yes, this is indeed a day the Lord has made. We rejoice and be glad in it. Zach, son, Ruthie, my precious daughter, may he be filled with the joy of the Lord each and every day. And so I say, l'chaim, to life.
As we were, sitting at our table, talking about kind of the event and how it's going, and everybody being here, this is perfect. As you look around, you just see all of these wonderful people, family, friends, that have in some way impacted us or guided us down the path that we are currently on. And so, the focus is on our marriage. But, I hope that you have enjoyed this night and thought back and reflected about our relationships and how you've stewarded us and made a significant impact, because we are just so happy that all of y'all are here. So I hope you've enjoyed the food and the fellowship and the night, and we are so thankful for y'all joining us on this special evening. So thank you.
So I wanted to take a quick moment and give a special thanks to my mom, because during this whole wedding process, she has done so much. She called the videographer and made the cake order, and every time I didn't want to do something, I was like, Mom, can you do this? And even if she was like, are you sure? She was doing it. And so, during the whole wedding ceremony, there's really no place for a mother of the bride. Laura gets to have a dance. My dad gets to walk me down the aisle. Glenn gets to give a prayer, but the mother of the bride doesn't have a special moment. And the mother of the bride dedicates her whole life to raising her kids. So I apologize to all of the single young ladies out there, but I will not be throwing my bouquet tonight. Instead, I will be dedicating it to my beautiful mother.